These are the top 6 reasons why people love living in Minnesota. What's up guys, Jadde Rowe here, and if this is your first time tuning into the channel, thank you so much for stopping by. This is the Living in Minneapolis channel where I break down what it's like to live in Minneapolis and the surrounding areas. I was born and raised here. I love this area and want to just provide as much value as I can to you to make sure that you know what it's like to live here, both the pros and the cons. If you want to make sure that you don't miss out on any content that we put out, I'm going to be releasing weekly videos about what it's like to live in the Minneapolis area. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can be the first to learn about new content that we release. Now, let's get into this. Reason number 1 on our list of why you're gonna love living in Minnesota is the lifestyle and recreation opportunities you have here. Minnesota, like I've talked about before, is the land of 10,000 lakes. We actually have over 11,000 lakes here in the state of Minnesota. And honestly, anything that you wanna do besides potentially maybe ocean stuff, you're gonna be able to do. What I mean by that is you're not gonna be able to go deep sea fishing, but we have both summer and ice fishing. If you're a rock climber, we have rock climbing up in the northern parts of the state, like real rock climbing outside. We have mountain biking, we have downhill skiing, cross-country skiing, boating, wakeboarding, golfing, whatever you wanna do outside. If you're a hunter, that's a big thing here in Minnesota. It doesn't matter. There are so many opportunities for what you wanna do here that you can make it happen here in Minnesota. And what's also nice is that since we do have the 4 true seasons, you can get really involved in your winter activities and really enjoy those, whether it's the skiing portion or maybe playing outside hockey or ice fishing, whatever it may be. Or maybe it's sledding with the kids. Like, that's a whole nother option as well, which is super fun. Then that goes away and then you can really have fun and be focused on your summer, spring, and fall activities when the weather is a little bit more cooperative and warmer out. So you get the best of both worlds when living in Minnesota, both the cold and the heat. You get it all and you can do whatever you want during those different times of the year. Number 2 is the cost of living. Minnesota, even though we do have higher state income tax, it is a very affordable place to live still when you look at it from the national average and especially from the Midwest. Our utilities, our groceries, those types of things are lower here, and our average household income, I know I've talked about it in my past videos, is around that $75,000, $76,000 per year, which actually makes Minnesota, again, a little bit higher income state when you look at it from just the average household income. And then when you compare it to our cost of living numbers, it is a very affordable place to live. So people are getting paid more here in Minnesota to live here, probably because there are the cons of like the brutal winter that we have to go through, but there's tons and tons of jobs here and lots of Fortune 500 corporations, which does drive up that average household income. So the cost of living here in Minnesota is gonna be lower than other states that you may be considering moving to. Number 3, going kind of off number 2, is a booming job market. We have lots and lots of jobs here in Minnesota. Like I stated previously, we have Fortune 500 companies headquartered right here in Minnesota. We have Best Buy, we have Target, we have United Health Group, we have CHS Robinson, we have Cargill, we have US Bank. We have a lot of different companies here in the downtown Minneapolis area and surrounding suburbs. There's also just a lot of other medium and small sized companies that also are getting a lot of traction here in Minnesota, making that job market super strong. We were actually ranked in a report in 2022 that was done in the top 10 cities in the nation that had the most Fortune 500 companies that were constantly hiring and always looking for new employees. So if you move to Minnesota, just know that the job market here is flourishing. Regardless of what the media says or what other reports that you may be reading, my personal experience, the reports that I've looked at and from talking to others across the state, if you want to find a job here, there's a lot of options available, both large companies, medium companies, and smaller companies, depending on what you are looking to get into. Number 4 on our list is safety and crime. Minnesota, like any other state, is going to have crime. That's going to be just the natural state of it, right? However, Minnesota as a whole was ranked number 12 on the lowest charts of national crime average, especially within the Midwest too. Minnesota ranks really well for crime. Now there's a different crime maps you can look at, niche.com, truly a crime map, to kind of figure out potentially pockets that are maybe better or worse compared to other parts of the state and city. But the national crime here in Minnesota is very low when you look at it compared to other states and other cities across the nation. Minnesota is a very safe state overall. And I would also say, especially in those winter months, because people do tend to stay home. A lot of homebodies in Minnesota during the winter because it's very cold. So there's a lot less crime, even in the parts that are maybe known for more crime. There's a lot less crime in the winter here because it is pretty cold in the winter, and most people will commit crimes outside or will have to go outside. Well, since it gets really cold here, most people aren't necessarily going outside to commit crimes during that time of the year. So regardless, it's a very low crime state. It does rank very well from that aspect, which I know people who live here in Minnesota really do enjoy that and like it compared to other cities that they have traveled to. Number 5 on our list is going to be the awesome food scene we have here in the Minneapolis area. Minnesota, and especially the Minneapolis area and the surrounding suburbs, are home to over 100 local breweries. There are tons and tons of options for local breweries that have awesome food, local food. They bring in local food trucks. There's also great distilleries around the cities, and so many small local mom and pop shop restaurants, Mexican, Vietnamese, Thai food, whatever it may be. There's actually a local restaurant that just opened up really close to my office in Loring Park, downtown Minneapolis, that was ranked as one of the top 10 restaurants in the nation by the New York Times. It's called Guy Now. It's got awesome pad Thai, awesome sort of Thai cuisine, pho, that kind of stuff, if you're into that. And which just makes it fantastic, right? That it's being nationally recognized. It just reiterates how awesome the food scene is here in Minnesota. I'm definitely a foodie. My wife and I love to go to new restaurants. We love to do takeout. And being in the Minnesota area makes it so easy for us. If we want Mexican, we know the awesome local spots to go for that. If we want Indian, if we want Vietnamese, if we want pad Thai, there's so many options. So if you're a person who enjoys eating out, if you're a person who enjoys finding the local mom and pop shop restaurants, even little like local bars, those types of things for little burger joints, that kind of stuff, it's a great spot. I mean, there's so many awesome food joints that I know anybody who's really into food and getting out of their comfort zone or looking for new spots to eat is going to love it here in Minnesota. Number 6 on our list is family friendly. Minnesota is a great state to raise a family in if that's what you're looking to do. In a recent report published earlier in 2023, Minnesota was ranked number 2 nationally for the best state to raise a family in. Yes, you do battle the 4 seasons, especially the brutal winter, but Minnesota, as a person who has been raised up here and plans to raise their family here, it is an awesome, awesome state to raise a family. You have all of the factors going for you. Great school systems, you have lower crime, you have a great job market, you have things to do with your kids all year round, whether you want to put them in sports or just enjoy time outside. There's things to do here constantly for you and your family. So it definitely is an awesome, awesome state to raise a family in. And number 7, a quick bonus one, is the community in Minnesota. I know that I take this for granted, but I'm in some awesome just friend groups and different communities of people that I've actually talked to other people that have lived in other states or were born in Minnesota and then moved to Colorado or other states, and they had such a hard time finding community like Minnesota has. So if being in a small group or just being in a different community of friends with people is something that's important to you, I honestly don't know what it is. It must be probably the Minnesota nice in us or whatever it may be, but we have fantastic communities here that it's kind of funny to listen to other people who have lived in other states or have even moved out of Minnesota and then come back because they miss their communities here so much. So whether you're getting, plugged into a church community, a gym community, a job community, whatever it may be that interests you, there's so many communities here and people that are willing to welcome you in, to educate you, to greet you, to just have you be part of their community and part of people that they do life with. Does make it just a fantastic state and fantastic kind of extra bonus if you do plan to make a move to the Minnesota area. Know that we have some of the best tight communities here in the state, and basically we have it nationally, some of the best communities. And this might not be something you can probably find online, but again, just from talking to people, it's something that I didn't realize until I got older, how grateful and how I've been for it and how awesome it is to just have a great community scene here in the Minneapolis areas. That is it for the top 6 reasons why you're gonna love living in Minnesota. Thousands of people are moving here every single year because it's a great state to live in. I'm helping countless people, lots of them, get into a home here in Minnesota and making sure that they're gonna be super happy about the area, community, school districts that they get plugged into. If you are trying to make a move or thinking of making a move to the Minnesota area, I would love to be of service to you. My phone number and email will be down below. Reach out to me anytime. I'm super, super happy to take a phone call. Weeknights, weekends, whatever it may be, we'll make something work. I would love to just chat with you, hear about what you got going on, hear about your goals, hear about kind of some of your fears, and just kind of have an open conversation. Again, really hope this video was valuable. And again, if you want to be the first to learn about more content that I put out, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can be the first to learn about them. That's it again, and I can't wait to see you guys on the next video. See you later.